Really, talk is in two halves. As we said, you've got selling your home, and then once you've done that, you then go on to buy your next property. So really, initially, it's when you come to sell your personal home, and this is where you are coming from as the homeowner and the way that you should do things, or the way that I sort of advise my clients when you come to sell. Now, in an ideal world, you should ideally always try and go into rented accommodation. Sadly, the times that we're in, if we had this conversation 5-10 years ago, you could have got away with it, and you could say, well, Alex, you know what, I've spotted that great flat that I'd like to downsize to. I'm now going to go on the market and we'll all very nicely merge everything together. Sadly, for various reasons, it just doesn't work that way. It's very stressful. You get involved in chains, and when you start getting involved in chains, very high risk, and this is where it starts then getting into the newspapers, and again, estate agency gets tarnished with the wrong brush. So I always say to clients, go into rented, it's for a couple of reasons. Number one, when you come to sell, you are selling from a position of strength. You are chain free, you hold the ace card, you can call the shots. When you then come to move, it's low stress, low pressure, and you then are in rented accommodation, watching and waiting for the right property, and you then pounce on the right property. The only disadvantage, of course, going to rented is, unfortunately, it's the ladies that are nodding now, it's 2 moves. But I have to say, going into rented is absolute, ideally, top priority. The next thing where people often sort of fall foul when they come to put their property on the market, and no one really sort of tells you this until it's too late, is actually appoint your conveyancing solicitor pretty much at the same time you appoint your estate agent. And when I say appoint your solicitor, what I actually mean is to ring them up, get a file opened for you, get client ID signed off, so you need to send your solicitor copy of your passport, recent utility bill, they'll sign that off. They may ask for a bit of nominal funds up front to cover any searches that they may go and do. And when you're on the selling side, they will want to get the title deeds, the information of the property, check it, and if there are any problems or anomalies, get some indemnity insurance for £20, £50, whatever it is, then you are ready to sell. The number of occasions in my career where we've done a great job, you've got the answer, and all of a sudden the vendor, the house owner, is saying, well, actually, I hadn't thought about a solicitor. They're running around and they've basically wasted a week or 10 days trying to find a solicitor, get all the client information, get all the title deeds, sort out the problem. The issue with that is your buyer, who was initially extremely keen, champing at the bit, wants to do the deal, you've chipped away at his confidence straight away, and you've actually given him, the buyer, the upper hand. So again, top tip is really to get your solicitor on board at an early stage. The other thing, and I was joking with Carolyn at the beginning, again, bugbear of estate agents and indeed solicitors, is building regulations, in that people accidentally forget to inform the council and the planning department that we've gone into the roof, we've converted the garage, and they've kept it very low key, which is great, and they've enjoyed it. However, when you come to sell, it may be that you've taken a view and your buyer may take a view, but as Carolyn, I'm sure, will go on and talk through, you've got to think legally. It's got to be black and white. So if you have been forgetful, shall we say, about getting building regs or planning sign-off, it's not the end of the world, but it just takes a bit of time to sort. You can get retrospective planning permission, whereby you go back to the council and get it signed off, or you can get, as I said, a form of insurance to cover you, but don't run the risk. When it comes to presentation, please ignore the media. Top tip, because Phil and Kirsty off the TV will say, you know what, take everything out your house, paint all the walls white, take all your photographs down. Totally the wrong advice, and I'll tell you why. Because house purchase is one of the very few emotional purchases that you actually do in life. If you walk into a sanitised hospital feel of a house, no one likes going to hospital. Why would you want to go and buy one? It's as simple as that. So again, people want to see the photographs out, the newspapers out. They then talk about the sort of smell of coffee and all of that. They mean it in a genuine sense, because someone is buying into a lifestyle at the end of the day. And obviously, please don't take it to the other extreme, whereby you've got clutter and boxes and it's all piled high and it's falling over you, is striking that sensible medium in the middle. So just take the media, as always, with a bit of caution.